Welcome to the New Muslim Workshop. My name is Mahmoud, and today we're going to try to answer the age-old question, what is stopping you from becoming Muslim? Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the New Muslim Workshop.
Welcome back. So recently, I took a deep dive into Reddit, and I noticed that there was this reoccurring theme, and I don't know if it's because I just noticed it or if it's always been there. And the theme is that somebody would post something like, I had a dream. In the dream, Jesus told me to become Muslim. It was amazing. And then nothing. That person doesn't take that final step to become Muslim. Or I've been studying Islam for the last 2 years, and I still have a few questions before I can take that final step. I want to become Muslim, but I'm white. I want to become Muslim, but I don't live next to any mosques. I want to become Muslim, but I have tattoos. I want to become Muslim, but I love to drink alcohol. I want to become Muslim, but I have a dog. I have a girlfriend. Whatever it is. Like, I have something that is stopping me from becoming Muslim. And the question I keep asking myself is, are these really good excuses? I mean, I can understand if you don't want to go against your family. That's like an age-old thing. Since the beginning of time, people have been worried about what their parents are going to say, or if they're going to be kicked out of the family, or if they're going to upset their mom, etc. I understand that. I just don't understand the other things. So what I'm attempting to do is open the floor to those of you who want to become Muslim but have like this one question that is really bothering them. What is that question? Because maybe we can help you out with that. And what I've done is I've compiled a number of questions that I've seen frequently in several posts. And I believe that these questions are stopping a big chunk of the people asking these questions from becoming Muslim. Because they've done their research, they know everything else, they're happy with everything else. It's just that one little thing that's really bothering them. And what I want to do is I want to compile a list of all these questions and answer them in the best way possible. So if you have a question that is bothering you and is stopping you from becoming Muslim, from taking that step to become Muslim, please put it in the comments below. And we will do our best to answer that. So let's start with that list of questions that people have. Number one, can I become Muslim if I am white? Yes, you can definitely become Muslim if you are white, because Islam is not a race-based religion. It's not based on a specific location. You don't have to come from the Middle East to be a Muslim. You don't have to come from Pakistan or Indonesia or Malaysia. And the answer kind of lies in the fact that the biggest population of Muslims is in Indonesia, which is not an Arab country, or Pakistan, also like 200 million people, also Muslim, also not Arabs. We made a video about this, and I'll put a link here so that you can watch that. And I've added statistics in that video. And what that's going to do is basically answer that question, hopefully to your satisfaction. The next thing that a lot of people have mentioned is that they don't have a mosque in their area, or that they're afraid to go to the mosque. They feel out of place. They've got too many tattoos or piercings or body modifications or whatever it is, or they don't have a wardrobe that covers them. If you don't have a wardrobe that covers you, invest in one that does. I think that's kind of the best solution for you if you don't have a wardrobe that covers you properly. And if you're going to go to the masjid, to the mosque, cover yourself. The idea of decency and the idea of purity is very big in the masjid and in life as a Muslim. So if you don't live next to a mosque or an Islamic center, there are websites like the One Message, Foundation. I think they're called One Message Foundation. There's several of them that have links on their websites that will connect you. Like if you click them, They will connect you to a real person, and that real person will guide you through the process to become a Muslim. So they'll guide you through saying your declaration of faith, which is the Shahada. We have a video that we made early on when we established this channel that teaches people how to become Muslim. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to have witnesses, but it's kind of nice to have someone present when you go through this momentous occasion in your life. So if you don't have a mosque or you don't have an Islamic center, you can go online, you can find these websites, and they will connect you with people who will probably put you on a Zoom call or a Teams meeting or some kind of video conferencing. They'll guide you through the process and they'll help you become Muslim. Another one is, I don't know how to speak Arabic. You don't need to speak Arabic to be a Muslim. You have to know a few phrases and supplications so that your worship is valid. Very few, but you don't have to be fluent in Arabic to be a Muslim. You just need to be able to say these supplications. And the first, obviously, is your Shahada. You have to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. It's Arabic, it's daunting. It's a phrase that means, I bear witness that there is no creator worthy of worship except Allah. There's no other creator. And that Muhammad is his slave and his final messenger. The point here is, you don't have to be fluent in Arabic to become Muslim. Eventually, we suggest and recommend that you do learn some Arabic so that you can gain a deeper understanding of the faith. But it's not mandatory. It is mandatory to learn a few of, supplications and verses of the Quran in Arabic, because you cannot worship Allah in a different language unless you are asking Allah for something. That's okay, that's acceptable. You say, oh Allah, I want some money. Oh Allah, I need a new car. That's all acceptable. Those are supplications. But when we're talking about the sunan, the traditions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, it is always preferred to say them in Arabic. And this is the most common one, which is, I don't want to go against my family. Now, this is so common that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah the Almighty, wrote this and included it in his book in chapter 2, verse 170, where he says, when it is said to them, follow what Allah has revealed, they reply, no, we only follow what we found our forefathers practicing. Would they still do so, even if their forefathers had absolutely no understanding or guidance? Allah is telling you that just because your forefathers and ancestors did it does not mean that it is correct and that it is right, and that you should follow the truth regardless of who it takes you away from and who it takes you towards. Another reason is, I don't want to become Muslim, or I am hesitating to become Muslim because I drink too much, or I take recreational drugs, or I smoke pot, or if it means that I have to give up my girlfriend, I'm not going to do it. This is a matter of priority. What is the priority in your life? Is the truth the priority in your life? Is it is alcohol? Is it the desire and the fulfillment of desire of drinking and consuming alcohol or consuming pot and marijuana? Is that more important to you than being at peace and knowing the truth and effectively taking care of your hereafter? Because if you've become Muslim, you've taken care of your hereafter. Even if you mess up, you might get punished for a short period of time because you messed up, or if you become a good Muslim, you might be absolved of all your sin. So the question here is, what is more important? The alcohol, your worldly desires, or your hereafter? Or the happiness of your Lord, the fact that you've reached a level of understanding of why you are here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Allah the Almighty tells us why He created us. What other religion has told us this? Allah has created us so we can worship Him. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have not created jinn kind or mankind except to worship us. So Allah created us to worship Him. Are we fulfilling our purpose? Have you fulfilled your purpose? This is one of the reasons why a lot of people seek the truth, is because they feel unfulfilled. They feel like there's something missing, like there's a big hole in their life, like there are questions that are not being answered by their respective religious leaders. Why am I unfulfilled? You're unfulfilled because you have not fulfilled your purpose. Once you fulfill your purpose, then you will understand, this is why I was created. I wasn't created so that I can fornicate all the time. I wasn't created so that I can be drunk all the time. I can be high all the time. No, you were created to worship your Creator. And that doesn't mean that you go to the mosque and you stay there and you live there and you worship there and that's all your life is. No, smiling in the face of your brother is worship, is a sadaqah. Smiling in the face of your children and your wife and treating them kindly and going and working in a job that is permissible, that will make Allah happy because you have not angered Him. You're not working in porn. You're not working as a thief. You're not ripping people off. You're not scamming people. All these things that anger Allah, you're not doing these things, or you're working in a job that is permissible and would make Allah happy. And this in turn will make your money halal, permissible. Your money is acceptable and you can spend it, and Allah will place barakah in it. He will place blessings in your rizq, in the bounty that Allah gives you. All of these worldly desires, it's understood that you might have been living your life up until you've discovered Islam purely to satisfy your desire. And in many cases, people understand that there is a lack of fulfillment in that. People feel it. There's something wrong. I'm missing something. People end up committing suicide because they see emptiness, nihilism. The hedonistic lifestyle is not fulfilling. And the reason is because you are not fulfilling your purpose. Another reason is, and this is a very important reason, it is not unique to you. I have doubts. I have doubts that the Quran is the true revelation of God because I heard that there are multiple versions of it, and this is not correct. The Quran does not have multiple versions of it. The Quran has the 7 ahruf and the 10 qira'at. This all has to do with variations in the Arabic language, and it has to do with the different tribes of Arabia, and that the Prophet was given permission to read the Quran in different accents of the different tribes of Arabia. I will include a link to a very comprehensive video that I found extremely helpful and extremely educational with regards to the 7 ahruf of the Quran and the 10 qira'at of the Quran, and it will explain this business to you. Another thing is just the fact that having doubts is nothing weird. It's not strange. There is an incident that happened between one of the mightiest of the prophets of Allah and God, and this is in chapter 2 of the Quran, in verse 260, where Abraham comes to Allah and he says, and this is the verse, "And remember when Abraham said, 'My Lord, show me how you give life to the dead.' Allah responded, 'Do you not believe?' Abraham replied, 'Yes, I do, but just so my heart can be reassured.' Allah said, 'Then bring 4 birds, train them to come to you, then cut them into pieces and scatter them on different hilltops. Then call them back, they will fly to you in haste. And so you will know that Allah is Almighty, All-Wise.'" So the Prophet of Allah, Ibrahim or Abraham, who has already witnessed one of Allah's miracles. He has already been saved from a fire that lasted for 4 days. His people threw him into this massive fire. He lived in it for a few days. He even admits later on in life that this was the best time of his life, where Allah basically saves him. And yet he still had doubts. He still doubted this sort of thing. How can someone bring life back to something that is dead? he had doubts. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he reassured him and he told him exactly what to do so that he can see the process of something coming back to life and coming back to him. In this case, the birds. So there's nothing wrong with that. The idea of, well, I have doubts. If you have doubts, search for the truth. Search for answers that will put your doubts at ease. And if you don't do so, then there is something wrong. Then you are not really seeking the truth. You're just you're playing trivia games. You're reading holy books for entertainment. You're not truly a seeker of truth. And if you truly are someone who wants peace in their heart, who wants to submit themselves to the creator of the heavens and the earth, this is the only way. This is the only way. You have to seek the truth and you have to decide for yourself. And the beautiful thing about Islam is that you can ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that. How come this is the case? When did this happen? Why did this happen? What is the meaning of this or that? And we're never going to tell you, well, you just have to believe. There are certain things that you just have to believe, such as you have to believe in angels because you can't see them. I can't show you an angel and say, well, the reason why this is happening, obviously, is because there's angels there. However, I can tell you the reasons why Allah, the Almighty, requires us to do one thing or another thing, and the wisdom and logic behind it, in as far as I know, and in as far as was told to us by the Prophet, peace be upon him. So consider this video me opening the floor to your questions. What is stopping you from becoming Muslim? There are other channels that do this on a regular basis. However, I figured instead of making multiple videos about this, let's consolidate. Let's make one video where you ask all your questions and we will compile them. And maybe later on, we'll make a video with a question and answer, basically the question that people have asked and the answers to those questions. And hopefully we can ease your heart and convince you that Islam is the best thing that can happen to you. And submission to your Lord, submission to Allah the Almighty, is the natural inclination for all humanity. And the people that are fighting against this, it's their loss. No matter what they do, it's their loss. So thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video and this kind of content, please give us a thumbs up. And we'll see you in the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.